everyone, welcome to the Spoonie channel where we are unfiltered, unafraid, and pain recognizes pain. As you can see, this is not my normal setup. I am actually in a hotel. My husband is working in Ohio for a month, so this is where I be. And I didn't want to pack up all my lights, so I was going to use natural light and hoping that Ohio was just a smidge cooler than Florida. Not really. No, we brought it up with us. I'm sorry, this eye is watering like mad. So you might hear noises, you might actually see the puppy wandering in and out of frame. He likes to look out of this window over here. But I didn't want to, oh, and I cut my hair for summer, hey. I didn't want to leave you without a video. And specifically, I started to realize that I had just done my 48-hour or ambulatory EEG. And I realized while I was here waiting for the results that I was not preparing myself for a positive result, as in, you know, we have an issue with your brain, you're an epileptic, we found the reason for these seizures. I am preparing myself for negative results. I am preparing myself for them to tell me we still don't know what's wrong. And I thought, how sad is that? How wrong is that? That in this community where we are fighting for our diagnosis and we have all these things. I mean, when you have Ehlers-Danlos, it's a connective tissue disorder. And there are many, many doctors who have no idea how to diagnose it, how to treat it, what goes on when you have it. On top of things like ankylosing spondylitis and these rare diseases and having a stroke and having these seizures for no reason. And people thinking not all. I've met a lot of beautiful, wonderful people who are not chronically ill, but I've also met people who think that when I go or we go to the doctors, it's in the hopes that we're going to get positive test results, that we want to be ill. Yeah, I do want positive test results. But it is simply because I want somebody to know what's wrong with me. I want somebody to have a test that says, we've got it, and we know how to treat it. Not, we know what you have, but there's no cure. We know what you have, but it's just about taking medication and trying to make sure that you don't degenerate as quickly as we can. Or, the worst of all, we simply don't know what's wrong. Or, are you sure these are the symptoms that you're having? I think about so many of us. So many of us who I know you're out there, who go into a doctor's office and you are worried that the test results, the blood results, the MRIs, the CTs, everything are going to come back negative. I'm trying not to cry. I put on a whole face of makeup. And then I did it twice because I used the Jaclyn Hill palette, the original Jaclyn Hill palette, and I went, oh, there's this little corner of colors that I don't use, you know, that like tealish, purple, royal blue, and I'm like, I'm going to do something. I'm going to make myself this beautiful eye look. I've just come to grips with the fact that I am too old to wear those colors, and I know that might be crazy to a lot of people. I'm saying me. I have seen a million people who can put together a look that is amazing. What I am saying is, with my limited makeup skills, because everything I know about makeup I learned from Jaclyn Hill, Nikki Tutorials, Jeffree Star, Stephanie Lang. I mean, that's it. That's it. I used to have the line. I mean, I'm an 80s baby. I used to have the line, the orange line. I got way off topic. Okay. Bringing it back around. There are just so many of us who go into a doctor's office, and as we sit there and we wait for the doctor, in our hearts and in our minds, we're going, this is going to be negative, and now what do I do? What are they going to tell me now? And to some people that might be crazy. To some people, you're thinking, no, you should be worried about positive results. And absolutely, I'm worried that there is significant issues. But my whole life is significant issues. My whole life is pain and agony and nobody knowing what I have and how to treat it and how to make it better, and do we have surgery, do we not do surgery? She's going downhill pretty fast, so if we do surgery now, we're gonna have to do a bunch of them, so maybe we don't do it. Maybe we just let her sit and suffer. Maybe we wait until it slows down, which it hasn't done yet. I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone. We want to be well. You and I both know that. You and I both know that we don't want to have to go to the doctors. We don't want to spend more time at the doctors than we do with our kids or our husband or our families or our friends. You know, it takes over our life. And we don't want to be ill. I don't know. I have not met anybody, any Spoonies, any chronically ill, anybody in chronic pain that says, I dig this life. I do. I want it to be this way. I wanted to sit in pain all day. I wanted to not know what's going on with me. Yeah, this is the life for me. Nobody says that. Nobody says that, because I watch my husband leave the house with my son and they're going kayaking. And they're going walking with the dog. And I have to wave and say, I hope you have a wonderful time. Nobody wants to do that. I know you don't. So as I'm sitting here and realizing that I'm preparing myself for negative results, and that we're gonna have to start all over and try to figure out why I'm having these seizures, it just made me want to talk to you and reach out to you and say I get it. I absolutely get it. And you know, as we move from one diagnosis to the next, one pill to the next, one biologic to the next, one test to the next, I used to get my hopes up. I wasn't jaded. I didn't start out this way. I don't think anybody does. I think as you start, you look at doctors and you're like, well, you're going to be able to figure this out. And I'm not blaming doctors. I mean, that's a whole separate video about how we're treated medically. But you have hope. You know, you're taught that doctors know what they're doing. And they do, but the blows just keep coming, and eventually I started feeling like a boxer in a match who's just getting their ass kicked. And I am taking every punch, every punch, every punch, every uppercut, every jab, and I'm getting back up. I'm spitting the blood out and I'm getting back up and I'm ready to fight again. But there comes a point where you are so bloody and you are so beaten that you are on the canvas and you just want that 10 count to come, right? You want it to be over. And I know that this is this is a terrible thing because, once again, positivity and happiness and being calm is good for our bodies, but I don't know what to do. I'm at a loss. And I know so many of you are at a loss with me. So many of you are praying for positive test results so that you can find some peace and you can find some answers. And for anyone out there that's not chronically ill and is watching because you love somebody who is, if they are hoping for positive test results, it's not because they want to be ill. It's not because they don't want to work. It's not because they don't want to go on that walk with you or kayak or do these amazing things that we haven't been able to do in, for me, damn near a decade. It's because the one most elusive thing when you are chronically ill is answers. It's answers. It's somebody saying, not somebody, a doctor saying, here we go, we have a positive test result, and now we know how to start treating you. Now we know where to begin. Because right now, we're all in the middle of this concert of doctors who sort of communicate with each other, who try to figure out what's going on. But I feel like we're running in circles. So, when I was laying in bed last night, praying for a positive result on my EEG, I realized how absolutely heartbreaking that is. Because if I'm doing it, so many others are. So many others are feeling that. So many people are waiting for blood work, and then when the blood work comes, it tells you nothing. Or MRIs that show that the pain you're feeling doesn't match up with what the MRI says. People who have to explain fibromyalgia, nerve pain, because there's no way to go, look, this is it. This is what I have. This is what's going on in my body. There's textbooks, there's papers, there's things that explain what I'm going through. It's hard. So when you're sitting in your doctor's offices, in the waiting rooms, when you're talking to your doctor, and if in your heart and in your head you're praying or hoping for a positive result so that you can start figuring out how to heal or how to live, baby, you are not alone. You're not alone. So, I don't want this to be a long video. Clearly you're looking at the headboard of a hotel, and if I keep going, I'm going to cry all my makeup off. But even here in Ohio, sitting on a hotel bed, I want to let you know that pain recognizes pain. And I see you. Always. I love you guys. And thank you. Thank you for letting me share my heart and my mind with you. And thank you for making me feel like I'm not alone.